morning. How are you? 67 of our Corona retreat. As it is warm here in Connecticut, but it is gloomy and rainy out there. And we got a bunch of campers are tough. They know how to uh, be okay with whatever the weather offers. We've had campers here with an unsurprised spring snowstorm. That was quite interesting. Bless their hearts, they had a pop up. But we're tough. But are we ready? Today I'm talking about getting real. And for the National Day it is, the first thing is it is National Taffy Day. And if you don't know the story, back in the 1800s at, I think it was a World's Fair, there was a man making taffy by the shoreline. And overnight, somehow the salt air, the salt water had gotten to his taffy. And he didn't know what he was going to do with it. He was going to have to throw it away. But a woman came up to him and ordered some taffy. And he said, well, all I have is this saltwater taffy. And hence, on that day, from a complete accident, saltwater taffy was born and is popular to this day. We've made taffy before. There's a recipe that I have for molasses taffy. And I remember making that with my mother and my sister, and it was a lot. I keep saying, do that again. You know, that's one of those things we keep saying we're going to do, but we don't actually get to do it. So I think I'm going to have to put that on my bucket list, as it were. It's also Lucky Penny Day. And in case you don't know, Benjamin Franklin designed the very first penny. And on one side, it had very wise words, mind your business. Ooh. And on the other side, it said, we are one. You know, money still has on it the statement e pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. So, and that's a core of my beliefs, is that we're all one. We have to take care of each other, be aware of each other, help, give help to each other. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm liking this National Day calendar thing. But now we come to a question about getting real about where we are. And the question that I am kind of running around in my mind and my heart is, are we ready to reopen? Because they say all 50 states are reopening to a degree. And you hear reports both of great fear of contagion coming back and having a spike in the numbers. You also hear of people who are, I understood some people, I saw it on the news, there was passels of them waiting from midnight. And they all went into the bar, no masks, no social distancing, none of that. So you've got this going to handle. In my personal opinion, which I like to call my never to be humble opinion, we are not to reopen. The fears of the government and the economy and some of the people, especially if they're having any financial challenges, that they want to get reopened quickly. But I don't know that we have learned what we need to learn in order to reopen. So I kind of titled today's visit as, we have to get real about, is it time? And would you believe that just as Ben Franklin designed the penny, Ben Franklin is one of methods is one of the ways I make decisions. If you're not familiar with the Ben Franklin method, whenever he had an important decision to make, he would take a piece of paper and draw a line across the top and a line straight down. And on one side, he'd put the pros of his potential decision. On the other side, he would put the cons. So it's a matter of sorting out the pros and cons as to whether or not we are ready. Now, only you can decide for yourself. But I'd like to share some of the things I invite you to consider as we're thinking about it. First of all, we don't want to be reckless because, and I'm going to use a very, very when I say, have you one of those crap moments? You know them? It's that time when you knew better, you decided to take the risk and do it, only to find out you were right in thinking it was not a good move in the beginning. Where did that thinking come from? Why? No, I'm going to tell you it came from the lower human consciousness, not the higher. So when we're thinking about reopening, we have to think of the pros and cons. And where is that coming from? For example, let's use a mask because I talk about that a lot. My mask is downstairs. I'm myself upstairs. And but when I go out, I've got it on. I've got it on for me and I've got it on for the other people. It's a way I cooperate, and it is the that they said is the best protection. Aside from washing your hands and keeping your paws off your face, wearing a mask and being around people with masks while social distancing is the best way. For all the other stuff, you know, they're saying now that touching items that have the virus on them, it's you know, the chance of infection is small, but it's still there. They're not saying no chance. So that's something to ponder. There are people who think they are above the law, that they don't need to wear them. Personally, because I don't care about you. I don't care what's good for you. I care about what I want. I don't even care about what's good for them. Because if you're not following the guidance, if you're not social distancing and everything, it basically means, as I see it, in my never to be humble opinion, you don't care. Okay, so don't be reckless when you make this decision. Another one, don't be desensitized. That's something we're all afraid of, is that what we're facing every day will become so normal to us that it won't shock us. It won't shock us how many people are dying. It won't shock us how many people, are not getting tested when they should. That's another aspect, is testing. That should be on the is it time to reopen list. Well, it is on the big list, but it's not on a lot of people's personal lists. So we don't want to become numbed or jaded to facts, nor do we want to be dragged down into worrying about it day or night. That is just as unhealthy. We don't want to be deceived by reports and by, we can't just listen to one news source to get a handle on what's going on. Yesterday, I listened for a few minutes to all the good stuff that's going on, and I won't deny it. All I know is when I look at a lot of the statistics pages I look at, the picture isn't quite that rosy. We have to make sure we're getting a full picture, because if we choose to risk, we've got to know what the risks are. That's called a calculated risk. Now, getting on a roller coaster is a calculated risk. We figure just about every roller coaster that sets off, with very few exceptions, makes it to the end of the ride. Oh, in the meantime, we get terrified and scream from the bottom of our soul as the as the roller coaster goes down. But that is a calculated risk. We know the risk we're taking. Yeah, that roller coaster goes off as once in a more than a yeah, that could be. It's well maintained, it's taken care of, it's designed to be safe. So we know that we're getting a thrill ride, But waking up, and I'm not going to use the virus here, I'm going to use an entirely different direction. It was 4 years, don't forget these things. It was Memorial Day weekend, and we were at the campground, and my granddaughter and her husband and the baby would every Sunday night for supper. She called me and she said, Peter's not coming, just Tristan and I are. And I said, whatever. And she goes, yeah, Peter's been sick. He's been throwing up and stuff, so he feels it's not a good idea. Well, I was feeling fine. She was feeling fine. The baby was feeling fine. Well, let me tell you something. By Monday night, I was not feeling fine. That was a risk that I took that I really shouldn't have taken. I should have said, someone in the house is puking, you're probably going to be next. So, they were, what do they call it today? Asymptomatic. So I had them come over, and I'll tell you something, that is the sickest I've been in a long time. That alone, I surely wouldn't want to go through what people are going through that are getting the virus. And I did speak to someone yesterday on the phone that had just do know one person that we know personally that died from it. 10 people at least that have died from it. So if we're ready to take the risk to reopen, we've got how much of that risk we're willing to take on. I don't like that oh crap moment when you wake up and you go, oh, I should thing, okay? Nobody can eat just one potato chip. That is so true, so true. But who is making the decision, first of all, to eat that one, knowing that you just can't eat one? I could do it. No, you can't. And then knowing that you could not eat just one, you go to eat more, and then a couple days later you get on the scale and you go, I don't understand why I can't lose any weight. We have to get real. And then here's the other side. It is germaphobes. There are lots of what you call them, germs, bacteria, whatever, that are very helpful to us. So we don't want to be spent in isolation to make us hesitate to be fully in and enjoying our environment. Right now, in a campground, folks are allowed to enjoy the campground without their masks as long as they're on their site. You leave your site or someone approaches, like they're going to be closer than 6 feet, mask has to be available and go on. This is just something we do. It is common sense. There we go, back to the Ben Franklin method. Pros, cons. Common sense, selfish choices. We all do it. In order to fight the virus and the dangers it provides, we have to be willing to face it. To face it, we face the facts. It's still there. I've got 2 appointments. I am going for the upcoming week for checkups. And they're checkups. They're not like I feel anything is wrong. And after the middle of June. The middle of June will be 90 days since 90 days, how long I feel it's going to last. I will judge in 90 days what I'm going to do next, but I'm going to hang on for that little bit more time. 3 weeks, I'm going to hang on and do is the right thing. I am about it so that I can find. There's a few things we want to also get about. The first one, seriously, it hasn't been that long. Even the 90 days I'm looking at here, even those 90 days, that is small if you look at the big picture. 3 months. It's only 3 months. You can make that huge difference. The scientist reports came out. If this was addressed, if we started the social distancing, thousands and thousands of I'm going to wait till the curve goes down. Like very much, I don't want to affected by the virus. I'm perfectly. One of the whole thing that has really caused people distress is not being prepared. And we've talked about this before, but I have to underscore it because it comes up over and over again. We've all been, most of us have been taught, and if we haven't been taught, this is the time for that lesson. We should all 6 months of living in the bank. In Unity, we like to call that an opportunity. We call it saving for a rainy day. Many things could happen. It's like an insurance, just in case. The same reason we have insurance, right? The people that are most concerned, I'm sure, are people that don't have any health insurance. Because if you can have it and you don't, then I'm sure you're not, it's probably not going to be very easy to get right now at this late pandemic. So we have to learn to be prepared. Yesterday with the mice, expect change. Change will happen. So I'm not saying this, saying, oh, have we had a learning experience here? I'm not just riding going, hey, no problems in life. We don't know how long it's going to go on. Another thing we have to ask ourselves, have we learned anything? Has there been enough time to learn anything? Is 3 months, which is a flicker of time in the course of our lives? Did we learn anything about ecology? Oh, I hope you're still there. I was for a minute, but I'm back. Okay, so I was asking, did we learn anything? Did we learn anything about the planet? Anything about how to live healthier lives? Did we, for these 67 days that I've shared ideas with you, did any of them work? Did you try any of them? Are you going to try any of them in the future? Now when we go out, if we didn't learn anything, we're going to wind up right back where we are. The time clock on the planet is going to be ticking. The virus may get worse. It may come back. If it doesn't come back for 5 years and all of a sudden shows up again, will we be better prepared at that time? These are the things that I feel are important. We want to be sure we're looking at facts, not. When I talk about feelings, I'm not, how consciousness is intuitive sensing? It's that knowing and inner sensing, the feeling that you good, this is not good, this is not time for that. The lower feeling, lower carnal nature, it wants what it wants it now. It sometimes has an overactive survival instinct and doesn't have a lot of connection with higher thought, thinking of self, not the big picture. That's being called of the world. And you know, Jesus said that in this world you will have tribulation, but I have overcome the world. I am in the world, but I am not of the world. And that's our goal, to be able to be in the world, in it, but not subject to the lower consciousness. We're here to lift it up. Being human, it's just spiritual beings having a human experience. We're just having a human experience to learn. At the facts, not the feelings. We were told yesterday that churches were to reopen, that they had to reopen. Reopen them, that he would override the governors. Well, but I do not agree. Already, when we can socially distance or when the bug is gone, about going back to church, go back and I miss church. You know, you want to go back and be with your folks and everything. But you know what? You can. We don't church and pray. There are online Zoom prayer groups. I pray with you on Sunday service. So yes, we can use all the prayer we can get, but don't put yourself at risk. You do what's right for you. Don't judge by appearances. If you see people partying and everything, judge by the facts, not by appearance. You do. Don't take this gift for granted. We are blessed. We're going to do this. I'm telling you. We have to stop so human. I was thinking about that song. You know that song? Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. Well, I have my own words. Oh Lord, it's hard to be spiritual when you're human in every way. The Apostle Paul said, that which I should do, I do not, and that which I should not do, that I do. Why? Because it's not going to get you anything but grief if you just do the human thing. So today we're going to rise above it. We're going to get out that piece of paper, make that Ben Franklin chart, pro, con. Am I going out? Am I wearing a mask? Am I staying in? How long am I staying in? What's my signal to go out? My signal to get back out and crazy in the world is going to be when the curve is down. Okay, that's it for today. I hope I see you tomorrow. To make though, I have finally joined the fashion realm. Let me show you. I'm lifting up my knee to show we have